Yes,
Let's
we
go,
are.
Brando.
All right, man.
I think we probably have a video to start
We got a
with.
lot of really good things to talk about, including contest specifics, lead changes, updates on several things. So
Big stuff.
maybe we should play a video first before we start talking. And then that's all just leading up to our guest today, which is Audree and the crew, and growing with Symmetry mindset from beginning to AO. So
It's awesome.
stay tuned. Get your pens ready. And there's going to be some interesting Q&A requests here in a minute too. So we might want to get some involvement. There's a lot of sharp brains out there in Q&A land, and we can't have all the answers. They got way better answers than we do. So
I'm going to need to go get a 5-hour energy if you're about to ask 3,000 people to comment.
I know. All right, I'm going to veil myself. Let's kick a video off.
Think we got a video. Veil it.
Here we go to give it a bit, able to go give, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. Listen, you may remember me, Benjamin Farrell, your friendly virtual auctioneer from last year's fundraising event to support Make-A-Wish. What an incredible investment. You made $260,000 for Make-A-Wish. Super incredible, absolute excitement and thrill. And how about Brandon and Casey taking the polar plunge when we were hitting our goals? Incredible. We're going to do it all again this year. We are fired up to let you know we're going to be getting together online November 17th. You need to sign up. You need to show up. We've got silent auction. We have unbelievable live auction. And of course, we're going to have a chance to come together once again as a community and grant wishes. Giving together, making a difference together, and it's going to be an amazing night. So sign up right now. All the details, of course, coming your way. Sign up, show up, and remember, bidding feels good and winning feels a whole lot better. See you online, everybody.
And that guy has an amazing voice, doesn't he?
He really is such a great auctioneer. I've never been around someone so good. In fact, we ran into him at the big Make-A-Wish ball a couple years ago. Maybe it was last year. No, it wasn't last year. What it had been?
No,
it was before COVID.
Yeah. And
he was on stage in front of 400 or 500 people at the big, regional Make-A-Wish ball that we were invited to. And man, we were just like that. We got to get that dude for our events. And man, he certainly knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good event.
I can't even make my mouth move that fast, and he has words actually coming out of it. It's really a talent. I wonder if he comes from like a long line of auctioneers. Said that he grew up going to them, like his great grandpappy was the first auctioneer. What would he have been auctioning back then, Brian? Great. Did I say 3 greats, grandpappies?
3 greats back. Little
cattle.
Potentially like a field of oxen or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yep. Oxen.
Instantly thought of the Oregon Trail wagon that you'd pull behind like a horse.
Yep. I like that. That's not what we're asking for in the chat, but we will get there. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because we got a lot of good stuff to hit after we hit the old numbers here. And Casey, can we just say for a second that we mentioned it on the last call. Congratulations to everybody that broke records. I got 4 texts during the last call from people that broke records. And some of them broke records by like $100,000 or more. So Symmetry, Quility as a whole, including corporate, broke 7 weeks in a row of over the 3.1 mark. And
just for the field part. Yep. Just
on the field part, 4.2-ish, entire corporate as well. And it was not an all-time record last week, but it was probably two or three back from an all-time record, which would have come back in September was the all-time record. What it was an all-time record for last week was individual riders and unique riders. So I'm sorry, first-time riders.
Yep.
And unique riders. So that's overall riders, for those of you that are new, and that's people that wrote their first application, which means Slingshot is engaged.
Yes.
It is engaging. And we're having an all-time record, which seems like a couple of times in the month for recruiting numbers as well, especially licensed recruits. So that's only going to go up. As a reminder, there are some changes coming down the pike with recruiting. as we're ironing out all those details with, several of our kind of recruiting vendors, this is something that's been pushed on us. And I don't know if you saw this or not, Casey, but there was a new government hiring warning thing. How do I word that? Was it from the Labor Department? What was that from? I can't remember now. You and I were talking about this.
It was the Federal Trade Commission.
It was the FTC. That seems big.
We made the list.
We did make the list, and there was a
short list.
It was a pretty short list.
It was like 1,100 companies, 1,100 corporations in America.
Yeah, it was like
a lot more than 1,100.
Google and Quility. Like, ooh, all right.
Good reminders about companies, trying to make what they have sound better than it is.
Don't do that.
But I think it was a recognition from the government that there is such a massive wave and change in people and how they're looking at their work, and they're quitting their jobs. You got massive amount of people kind of moving out of the restaurant industry and a ton of other industries. And so it was actually Federal Trade Commission coming in and saying, here are the rules you need to be careful with when you're approaching or recruiting or whatever you're doing. So crazy stuff to get.
So, just kind of overarching, I think, because we're all recruiting, we want to stay obviously in the good graces of the federal government. That's always a good idea. Unless you want to get like kicked out of the country or put in the pokey, and nobody wants to go to prison or even have to pay fines. All of those things suck. So how do you recruit then, Casey? And I guess more importantly, because it's a broad question.
Yeah.
What do you think people are looking for when they're asking about an opportunity? Do they want to be sold something? Or do they want to buy something? The best recruiters aren't out there trying to pitch that this is easy, that this is get rich quick, that you should quit whatever you're doing and come here.
Yeah, good people run from that. You end up scaring off the right people and attracting the wrong people. You end up attracting people looking for a handout because that's what you're selling.
Yep.
The best recruiters, the best leaders, what we do as a company is we sell the challenge of it, but the challenge is worth it. And we're also very real with people that, look, it's not for everyone. A lot of people can't do this.
Yeah.
Or they don't want to do it, whatever it is. So don't be afraid to actually talk about the challenges. The right people want to hear you be real with them and say, this is difficult. If you don't do this and you don't do this, it will be difficult. If you do this, this, and this, it will be simple. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It just means it's going to be simple. So that kind of feel.
And don't run from the fact that it's commission only. When somebody says, was this commission only? Like, of course.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely. Why would you want to be in insurance sales if it's not commission only?
Exactly.
So that the more you work, the less you get paid. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Back to
W2 positions offer anywhere from $800 to $1,000 bonus checks every single day when you protect a client.
Exactly.
You can find that.
Back to records, Brandon, because you mentioned the records we've been having, but congratulations to everyone because we absolutely demolished our monthly record in pretty much every category we have as a company in October, which, as we said on the last call, we are just a reflection of the collective leadership out there, all of you guys. And as Brandon said, we've just gotten so many texts. I mean, we've never seen this kind of momentum as a company in 12 years. So keep those records breaking, keep the pedal down.
Yes.
We've got a couple months to finish out this year. Everything we are doing right now is setting us up for a powerful 2022 and coming into conference in Denver on an all-time high. Right now, just with Denver, we're at almost 7,000 tickets.
Whoa.
For Denver. And so very likely we'll need to go into an overflow situation. That being said, you need to, if you're on the call right now and you don't have a ticket, or you don't have your name assigned to a ticket, you need to do that as quickly as you can to make sure you get a spot in the main theater, because you will want to be in the main theater for Reimagine 2022. This conference is going to be real big. So just brace yourself. Like get your name on those seats and get your hotel rooms, get all that stuff figured out.
Here's what I think here's what I think we should do. As I'm going through the leaderboards, if you broke a record, I don't care if you were an individual that broke a record or an agency that broke a record and what type of record it was, let us hear about it down here in the chat. I want to see just how many records were broken.
Hey, Brandon, and real quick for everybody out there, just so we explain, because some of you new to Zoom don't know what it feels like. When we dismiss your comment, it's not because we don't care or we didn't like it. It's because we've gotten so many. And what happens is they all go to a file. And then when we get on these calls, we put them into a spreadsheet and then we print them and we all review them. So that's what's going on. Every week I get a few people that say, did I do something wrong? You dismissed my comment. I'm like, no, we love you. We're just going to read it in a minute.
But to be fair, sometimes we dismiss them because we don't like them.
That's, if you say go Clemson, that happens a lot.
I mean, we're fine if you say go Clemson. Everybody has to root for 500 teams. You know, that's
look at the records coming in. That's so awesome.
This is great.
Do it.
Hey, one thing I will add to what Todd is saying is we tend to dismiss questions that we may not like if you're an anonymous attendee, more so than if we know who you are. So take the time to put your name in there. Let us know who you are, that you're not like some secret spy from another insurance company out there trying to.
That's happened
before, hasn't it? It has happened before. It's probably happening as we speak. And we would just like to say to all of you that are spies, welcome. You don't blame you. I'd be checking it out too if I were you guys.
Come on in. The water's great.
The water is fine. Come on in.
I don't know. Just looking at these records, like, how would you not want to be all about this? So awesome. Lord.
Keep them coming, baby. Keep them coming. All right. Oh, we also have October numbers already finished. Fantastic. Top new writer for the week was Monique Martinez with 10,298. That's a heck of a first week, Monique. Great job. Sean Pope, $18,920.51. Sean Pope. You think there's any kin to the
Gotta be.
You know?
Gotta be.
Would you say that this is Brian's nephew? I know that he doesn't have a son.
There's only one way to know.
Sean,
we need to see Sean Pope's biceps.
We do. I thought you were going to surely say his family lineage tree, but we'll settle for biceps. Send us a picture of your.
All you got to look for is the vein,
the
biceps. It's bigger than my entire bicep.
No, I know who Sean Pope is. He is not related to Pope, but he is. He's got some big things coming. So I have a feeling that 18,920 is just a tip of what's about to happen. So welcome aboard, my friend. Top three producers for the week: Nicholas Redmond, Lee Jedlicka, and Sean Hogue, number one with $19,904. The top producer for the month was Lee Jed with $78,264.48. Hello.
Machine.
Sean Hogue. Look at these numbers right here from Scott Forehand, Elliot Freer, Sean Hogue. So here's the only advice I would give everybody on the right or left-hand side of this list. And this is really good advice, so write this down. Those numbers are impressive. But if you don't get them issued, nobody gives a rip. So go get them placed, which I think these guys, for the most part, most of them do a really good job with that.
They do.
If you're not doing a really good job with that, here's what I want you to think. Why are you wasting all of your time? You're doing the hard part. Figure out how to do the easy part.
That's right.
I doubt that these guys are gals on there too, that they're like, you ain't telling me nothing I don't know. I know how to do that.
Getting excited about the contest we're about to talk about too, Brandon. Those folks are about to get after it.
Monique O'Reilly, 21 applications in a week. Elliot Freer, 75 apps for the month of October. That's spooky. Spooky good. Number one, where are we? Medicare Sups, Andrew Hardenberg. Number one for the month, Melinda Dean, $6,268. Number one on the DI board, Jeffrey Billman. For the month was Becky Snyder, $4,342. Top IUL producer for the week, Sean Hogue. Top IUL producer for the month, Glenn Sagawa, $28,432. Not too bad. Number one annuity producer. Are you ready for this? I got a great name and a great annuity for you. Boom, Kenneth Von Schubert. $1.5 million. He's like an earl of something. At least a duke. I don't know the difference between a duke and an earl. Do you?
No.
Duke sounds tougher. Earl sounds, I don't know.
Fancy? I don't
Fancy?
know. He's Von Schubert is whatever the better of those is.
Yep.
Duke or an Earl. Kenneth, you're on both boards. Way to go. Top 3 DFL producers. Excuse me. Number 1, Bonnie Popovich, almost $12,000. Todd Schuchart, $41,189. And you know what the most impressive part of this Todd Schuchart piece is? He's doing it with all the leads that other people were complaining about.
He only takes the bad leads.
He's like, I want the crappy ones.
Kicked out of the system.
Bad
Give me your
leads.
crappy
Bad
leads
leads.
that other people don't want. Those are the leads I want.
Bad leads.
Jeez.
Oh, I love it, man. Oh, recruiting. Scott Forehand. Boom. 8
Here
for
you,
the week.
Scott Forehand.
Jacob Pogue with 24 on the directs board. Scott Forehand with the most licensed at 6. The most direct licensed would be Edward Pritchett with Jacob Pogue close behind.
Look at old Chris Clark, though, breaking out at 120 and keeping his foot on the gas. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Way to go. Way to go, Jet. Let's see what you got. Top new riders, Ian Graham with 4. I see you, Reineke and Griff Martin. And then Jacob Pogue in the direct side with 8 with Miranda and Trey close behind. Look at all these seasoned new agents. Looks like about 16 to me. Aaron Zhang, Brandon Catron, Brandon Norwood, Carolyn Glenn, Cheyenne Marison, Danielle Gallo, Jason Cordova. I spent time in Cordova. Jeffrey Billman, Latanya Breland, Lisa Schultz, Matthew Zika, Misty English, Monique Martinez, Stephen Bostian, and Yawanda Moore. Way to go, seasoned new agents. Time to slingshot yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Julie Mai is the top key leader for the week, edging out Rich Osterhout. Cara DiNardo with $110,000 in premium as a key leader. That's a big month, Cara. That's a real big month. Carlton Lear with $53,000 for the week, and Marty Valor with $202,000 as a record in the AO category. Way to go, man. Top agency directors, Larry and Ann Griffin for the weekend, the month, $617,000. Ain't too shabby. My lights went off. Hang on. All it takes is one snap.
Auto lights. And mine does the same thing.
We got to figure it out. And then it comes back and my video's all blurry. Look here, you just start it and stop it. Not like nothing happened. Keep moving on. Regional agency directors. The Godfather himself, $160,000 in premium, but Eileen Balmer takes it for the month, $784,000. Top MVP was Marvelous Marlon Faulkner. I see you, George and Janet. That was a good week. Brad and Kira, man. George and Janet Matthews for the month, $547,000. I think that was a record by over $100,000 for Team Matthews. Way to go. Okay, look at Cook too. I think that's a record.
Record for Chris Cook for sure. Yeah.
Pappas, Summers. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a record for every single one of y'all.
Yep.
Kyle and Lisa Kimbrell, number 1 in the SVP board. Nate Offert's climbing too, man. I like hearing all the stuff he's got going on. Jimmy Spilldinner, $807,000, second place to first place, which is Kyle and Lisa Kimbrell with 1.139.
Nice.
Top EVP, Carl Miller. Top EVP, Carl Miller, $723,000 for the month. Way to go. Top associate partner, Lynn Watkins with $732,000. Hello. 3.2 million, 3.26 million for the month. For the week, Easy Eddie at 1,050,000. Marshall Whalen at 836. Pritchett took it. 4.788 million to 4.402 million. Back and forth they go. Kevin Purdy with 189,000 as the top direct. Jacob Pogue with almost $1 million for the month in his direct agency. And Melissa Weigel for the week and Edward Pritchett for the month. So let's see here. Do we want to go over this now?
Let's save that for the main content, maybe.
Let's save that. Well, we've got, right before the main content. Let me come back to that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
So we'll go to here. Room blocks are available at the Belco. May want to get those signed up immediately because they're starting to fill up. We also have November 17th at 7:00, The Magic of a Wish that you've heard us talking about. This week, Casey, something exciting starts our digital virtual corporate overview series. And they're going to be every Thursday other than Thanksgiving, as you can see, coming up over the next 6 to 8 weeks. Many of our top leaders will be hosting these. You can head on over to HQ to get the schedule, to get the link also for the Zoom so that you can share it. And this first one, I believe, is going to be hosted by Mr. Marshall Whalen and Mr. Edward Pritchett. Can you think of a better combination of people to do a corporate overview?
Cannot.
How would you not be sharing that with every single person you know, especially with everything that we know that's going on out there in the world, Casey? I can't get away from it. Every article we're reading is about people leaving the workforce, wanting this gig economy, making it their own. We can talk more about that here in just a second, because I think there's some great tips around that. Also this week, we've got Protect the Protector, My Health updates with Apex, which is tomorrow. We have Gary Keith tomorrow also at 11:00. Just mentioned the corporate overview with Pritchett and Whalen. Friday, we've got Todd Talks with special guest Mr. Travis Shank. That should be a good one. What else we got? Oh, Monday, Jeremy Whitaker, more business and issue paid. Omar Diaz.
A lot of training opportunities the next few weeks, guys, for your agents to plug in and hear about how they can get more business issue paid. That is what this contest is going to be about.
Yes, absolutely. I've got something I want to talk to Mr. Doug Zay about. I think Doug should be on. Let me scroll down here and see if I can find him. Mr. Zay, you out there, buddy?
Oh, I'm here.
There you are.
Waiting
Exciting stuff going on with leads in the coming weeks, especially I think this week. Keep an eye out, because you may have an influx of direct mail leads that will be popping, leads, I should say, that will be popping on the inventory list. But overall, just wanted to make sure that everybody's kind of up to date on some of these new lead changes.
Yeah.
What we got coming up, buddy?
Yeah, well, we released it this Monday, sent out notification to all the agency owners. So make sure you check your emails for really detailed instructions from Pam about what to expect. But we got a lot of leads, and so we need to keep them moving out into agents' hands so we can help the clients that have asked for our help. So what we did on Monday is we instituted a new process that allowed us to greenlight 1,000 new agents. And what that means is that they're able to go in and purchase leads off of open inventory, leads off of open inventory, without requiring manager approval. In the coming weeks, we will continue to greenlight agents who reach the mark of submitting 3 applications. So they really got a chance to work some good, fresh leads. For the managers, I think one of the important things is we, of course, want you monitoring and paying attention to this. You do have the ability on your in your opt account to turn that off for somebody. So if there is any concern or issue you have about that downline agent, you can turn that off. You can also elect to turn anyone on that we did not turn on. A couple things coming in that will be ready and available next week is we are adding all of these purchases to your close ratio report that comes to you every single Monday, so that you can see all, and these will be separated out in a column on there so that you can see all agents you have that purchase leads off of open inventory and what their close ratio is, so you'll be able to monitor that. In addition, we are adding a tab on the My Agency tab that will allow you to see up to the minute information about which of your agents are on there purchasing leads out of inventory. So a couple development things that are in process, and we'll be ready next week.
Love it. And this just kind of goes in line with our strategy over the past, I would say, a year, Casey, 14 months, maybe, when we rolled out some different metrics and stats that we'd be tracking, such as SNAs, and also goes right in line with the ability to slingshot. We want the managers, we want you guys being aggressive with leads. We want to put leads in people's hands quickly. We want to make sure that they are the right people, but oftentimes the only way to make sure that they're the right people is to watch their feet and see how they work, right? So we want to give, we wanted to give people an opportunity over the weekend to get in some activity and get some leads, because there are some managers, Doug, We won't name any names yet. That would not be nice. There are some managers that have ordered leads, but that are not necessarily good at allocating the leads. In other words, they take them, they say, let me give you an example. Doug, you're a manager and you say, I need 20 leads. And we say, all right. And we send you those 20 leads. And then what do you do with them? You don't get them to your agents. You sit on them. You sit on them for 4 or 5 days. Maybe you sit on them for a week, right? Those days are coming because it's extremely important for us to allocate leads as close to real time as possible. So if you're a manager that is not managing correctly and you can't allocate your leads quickly, there will be some negative consequences coming to that. We're not really ready to announce what those are, but one thing that could be guaranteed is that you won't be able to stay in the place like first place, second place, third place in which you are if you're not getting leads out quickly. Because this whole strategy and this whole shift over the past year is not only aggressiveness, it's quick. How quickly can we get to the clients, especially as we move more on digital leads and even direct mail leads as we're allocating daily. A year ago, Doug, we were allocating weekly, and we've made all these changes internally, and managers, it's up to you to kind of keep up with those changes. And if that means you have to change your processes, that's what you have to do. So all of those things are coming, and not trying to scare anybody, but it's a major positive that we just broke record after record after record for the month of October, and really dating all the way back, Casey, to mid-September. The other records that we were breaking were leads generated and leads allocated. If a lead sits on the shelf for a week, obviously it's not as good as if it sits on the shelf for a day or even minutes, right? So we all have to kind of change our processes to make sure that we can get to the clients as quickly as possible.
Such a hugely important piece for, as we continue to establish our name recognition in the marketplace. We want Quility, Symmetry to be known for excellent service to our clients. And part of that excellent service is you ask for insurance and we're going to get you information as quickly as we possibly can. And so it's not intended to be punitive, it's intended to serve that mission, right? So if you are in a situation where you've over requested, I think of the Seinfeld episode, you know how to place the lead order, you just don't know how to distribute the lead order.
I was watching that last night. And actually, that's the most important part of the lead order is allocating the lead order.
What I will say is we're here to work with you. That's what we want to do. This is not intended to be punitive. We also just can't sit idly by and witness this going on with our managers and not take some kind of corrective action to make sure, we're all in this together, and every client, every lead that goes uncontacted and unhelped is a detriment to every single person on this call. And it challenges us to know, well, what is the actual demand in the system? That's the other record we're breaking every single week right now, which is the portion of our orders that we're able to fill completely or at least partially. And we are in the near future going to be getting to all orders. And with those numbers are higher than they've ever been. So the reality is the leads are here and they're coming into the system. So, if you're in a position where that's the conversation you need to have, that's what the leads department is here to help you as agency owners figure out what is the right number for me to be focused on right now in this region, in this area. And I think there's less reason to be nervous about, if a couple weeks from now, you need to turn that lead order back up because you decreased it. I think that's the first thing you can do so that we have an accurate picture of demand. And guess what? Our ability to generate leads is like it's never been before. So being able to turn that order back up is not an issue for us as well. So just be active and work with it. And we're going to be starting some communication and working with folks that we notice are seem to be struggling with this at the moment. So be expecting some phone calls and some outreach from us to be digging in with you and figuring out the best plan to move forward.
Love it, man. Also, I would say as we're getting ready to talk about how to win a contest, it's it's no secret, Casey. It's all about activity. Spivey, we've had a lot of new people come on board. Obviously, our licensed recruiting numbers are higher than they've ever been. We have people that are coming from competitors, maybe you could say, that we're working leads, and they really like what they're seeing over here. One of the kind of untapped just gems, just mines over here is not only A1 leads, which we will be changing terminology to soon, to B1s, B2s, B3s. But all of those three categories in particular, especially kind of as you even get down to those B3s where there's 100,000 of those there. We rolled in 100,000 new A1s into that category a few weeks ago as well. And some people have said, well, those are a little older and outside of our. We kind of talked about that. The reason that those went into A1s is because as we did trials, they actually had a higher close ratio than some of the other A1s that we were doing, especially with SBLI and with a value-based lead system. We want to give those the correct value. You got some interesting feedback over the past couple of weeks, Todd, and I don't know, maybe it's appropriate not to share names, but share results on what some folks are seeing.
I think, first of all, Brandon, it's been really cool that, as you guys know, there's a lot of agents that have come to us recently from competitors. And the amount of messages I've gotten so far of gratitude and just minds being blown about how good the quality of our leads are. Guys, I think sometimes we take it for granted as agents, just how good of a system we have, and what others out there and competitors are dealing with are lead vendor lists and leads being sold to 8, 10, 15 agents with the same lead. Now, we all know we can't control that multiple people are mailing some of the same addresses at times, and sometimes we get duplicates. But guys, at some of the competitors out there, they literally will intentionally sell the lead multiple times. If you go in and protect that home, that lead is not pulled out of any system. That lead is continually sold and continually called on by new agents, causing you to go in there and constantly try to replace business. I think, I just get passionate about this because it made me appreciate more what you guys have provided for all of us in the form of a true lead system. Because the gratitude and the minds being blown by all these agents coming to us from other competitors, they can't say thank you enough. And the cool thing is, Brandon, none of them's got any A leads. None of them's got any direct mail A leads yet. They're all working bonus leads as they make this transition. I got one the other day that agent bought 15 A1 leads, dialed 4 times, got 4 people on the phone, set 4 appointments in less than an hour. Another person joined us. This person was used to dialing. Now, granted, this person was used to dialing 14 to 15 hours a week. That's what he was having to do to keep up on the hamster wheel at the previous company. And he comes over here, he buys 100 A1 leads. He dials 96 times, he gets 12 contacts, and he set 9 appointments in 2.5 hours.
Good Lord.
2.5 hours. Like we talk about the incredible numbers of contacts to set appointments. Again, he contacted 12 people, he got 9 appointments. That's incredible. But what people will miss, and one thing that Max Day I know would echo in the recruiting efforts, guys out there, is how much value did this individual get back in their life by shaving 12 hours of their week in dialing just like that?
Big deal.
How much more time can they put in their business at getting better, growing themselves, recruiting, going back to protect clients they haven't talked to in a while? Whatever you want to do, spend time with your kids. That's the most valuable part of it. But Brandon, it's been cool. And I could tell you, I could go on and on and on. The call-in leads. I'm seeing a trend now where a lot of these agents that are coming over to us are texting and saying, Spivey, is there any way I can just buy all the call-in leads? Like, I don't want any other lead. I just want call-in leads. Crushing it.
Yeah. Well, look, guys, there's no company in our space that I've ever heard their strategy be get yourself out of the field as quickly as you can on a weekly basis. Like, you can't spend 60 hours a week trying to pay your bills and have time left to build something for your future. Our strategy and our goal has always been, we want you to get to that number as quickly as you can on a weekly basis, whether that's 20 hours, 25, 30 hours. Get yourself there as quickly as you can so that you can spend the rest of your time doing the things you want to do, spending time with your family, making sure that you got those things blocked in, but also for your future, making sure that you're actually working on your business. And it's just a different mindset when people come here and they hear us say, no, we don't want you working 60 hours a week in the field. Why would we want that for you? Like we override you guys. And Spivey, when you're in the field, you're worth about $150 an hour. When you're a leader and you're building a business, you're worth $300 an hour. What would you guys rather override? Somebody's $100 an hour work or somebody's $500 an hour work? We want to escalate you to where your hourly net worth is higher, because again, like, we're not just doing it because we're nice guys. We're doing it because we're business guys too. And we understand that, you know, we make a pinch and we want that pinch on your large business. And not that everyone's going to be in a position to do that, but you'd be surprised when you start, you know, and you start realizing, man, I do have time left in the week. Where can I invest this time? We'll show you where to invest that. And when you start reinvesting your time and energy on the right side of the quadrant, the permanent side of the quadrant, it doesn't take long before you wake up 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, Brandon, and you start looking at your bank account and you start saying, half my income this year came from, came in a passive way. And half of it came from me writing insurance. And now you just keep leaning into that world. And man, you got to start somewhere though. And it's not going to happen working 60 hours a week calling leads.
No, don't think anybody signed up. Nobody signed up for that crap. So,
right.
All right, here we go.
A lot of stuff here.
Yes. Sorry, Audrey, I promised we're going to get to you. Okay.
I know. And hey, Casey, do we want to do the contest or we want to talk about some upcoming potential?
Yeah, let's show really quick, because I know it's something we've talked about a lot on the note of recruiting. If you guys are ready behind the scenes to give them a little teaser of the full series of comp explainers that you guys are going to be able to use in your recruiting and onboarding process. So
good.
Play that if you can. Just a little teaser. Okay, it's time to take a close look at our entire compensation model. First, you're going to want to invest in leads. Leads are the lifeblood of your business. Here's how the math works. An average sale of $87 a month. The insurance company looks at everything. Let's talk about growing your business and how the compensation works. And remember, this is what we mean by passive income. The ability to do something once yourself represents $30,000 of net placed premium a month. We want to encourage you to bring as many people up to your level. 35% spread on your base shop. Massive profitability. And then you have unlocked 3 shares of the equity bonus. That's a very large impact you're making on a lot of people. All right, so you guys were asking for it. There it is. Coming out. I believe it will be on HQ for you guys to use. We will probably give you guys some information on how we'd like you to use these if you're going to use them. I would kind of put them a little bit more in the mid funnel of your recruiting funnel, meaning not something that you would just blast out to the world. There is some you know, that we don't just want to give everyone the keys to our system. You know, not that it's that easy to create a company and a culture and a system like we have, but it's not something we just want to blast out to everyone. So I would say it's more of a mid funnel and in onboarding. So it may be that, Todd, if I have an interview with you, that's something I'm sending you before the interview for you to prepare for, but it's not something I'm sending out before the interview just to attract you. And you guys are going to kind of start to learn how to use this the best way, and give us the feedback that we need from you guys on where you're getting your results from. But it will also be embedded in the onboarding and Quility University as well, so that even if people, like a lot of people, don't necessarily need to see all of the math to understand and to get a contract. I mean, we're contracting a few hundred people a week without these videos. So clearly they're seeing enough without them. But, you know, to get more buy-in coming up to that interview or after the interview, and we've actually got someone through contracting, for them to see a complete breakdown of like what it is to make your first sell, and then what it looks like to be an Edward Pritchett or a Marshall Whalen and everything in between. Very motivating for people to see that math. And we've just never actually had a full, complete breakdown of it all. So there you have it.
There's a lot more coming too.
Yep.
Kelly Summers in the chat summed it up perfectly. It's like Casey with a beautiful mind, just writing all the numbers. And
yeah,
there's like infinities like and there's all.
I was thinking more of what's the bachelor party movie?
Hangover?
Yeah, Hangover. Remember when he's in the casino and it's just all the brilliant numbers popping out of his mind?
There is a connection between Casey and that guy. Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there was some early day inspiration.
Yeah, that
Casey gave Zach Galifianakis
right
on Reggie. So if you go back and watch, he was a politician. What was the name of that movie? It's like a Congress.
The Campaign.
He was the campaign. Go back and watch The Campaign. You'll find Reggie, but you'll also notice that Reggie was filmed before The Campaign came out.
Far before The Campaign.
Long before it came out. So not even a word of gratitude to you from Galifianakis.
Didn't even mention me.
No.
Well, I will say that Reggie and that character is a very specific. You'll find it usually in North Carolina, and usually it's kind of towards the central part of North Carolina, like Burlington, Raleigh,
the old Piedmont area.
Yeah, and just they're interesting characters, and you'll know exactly when you run into one of them, right?
You know a Reggie when you spot one.
That's right.
All right, we got a heck of a contest coming up, and we wanted to take just a few minutes to clarify exactly what the contest is for anybody that may have missed last week's call or that caught some of it but wanted a little bit more clarification. Good news is you are dead in the very beginning. It's go time for the contest. This week is when it started, and what's at stake is 35 all expense paid trips to a beautiful inclusive exclusive destination, which we're going to be ironing out, letting you know exactly where soon. But we've got a lot of different things on the list that you're going to love all of them. So each direct will have someone in their organization. We have 34 directs. Each direct will have someone win in their organization, and there will be an overall winner as well. Okay. So how does it work? So it says here that results are going to be posted monthly on the leaderboards. That is true, but submit results to kind of get a feel for where you are will be posted actually weekly. Okay. There will be a true up once a month after the net place numbers come out so that you'll know exactly, because it is a net place contest. Okay. But we like leaderboarding things weekly. You get production credit for your net place production early on your submitted production, and also 1,000 points per recruit that you bring on direct to you. Okay. So there's a point system that's going to happen here, because what we don't want is for someone to get out in front, they have a huge month, and then people think they can't catch them. Okay. So the way this true up is going to work looks kind of like this. How you finish the month determines how many points you're allocated. It's a 4-month contest. It runs through the end of February. After, for example, November, once enough time has gone by so that we can get the place numbers from the carriers, here's how points will be determined. Okay. If you came in first for the month, you get 12 points. If you came in last for the month, you get 1 point. You can see the whole point breakdown here. The reason we did this is because we want this to remain tight, but more importantly, we really want to reward consistency. The people that go out and write every single week, every single month, place big numbers are going to have more of an opportunity than the people that kind of do like this a little bit. Okay. Now, if your schedule leads you to do like that because you're recruiting, you're doing other things, and you've got it nailed in, dialed up, good. You can still do it. Now, each direct will also get their leaderboards for their individual agents, and you can see that breakdown on the left. Very simple. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Top 10 will be given points every single week. Okay. So some other things that we want to take a look at. Quality level term is going to count for double production for the whole 4 months for personal and household policy. So if you write a policy on yourself, maybe your spouse or partner, if you got anybody else living in the house with you, maybe you live in a fraternity house and you got like 40 people that you want to go write a policy on, you're going to get double production on all of those. Okay. Has to be the same address. Okay. Do not put the same address if it's not the same address, because that can get you terminated. Don't do that.
No. Big no.
Big old
no.
Can't do that. Okay. All right.
But Brandon, what if I've already written an SLBI product on myself?
Well, you got the L and the B mixed up, but you were close. SB.
Well, I know.
You were close. You slowed down and it confused yourself, I think.
QLT. I know. I got to go fast.
That'll work. QLT, baby.
But I've already written a QLT product on myself, Brandon.
I want you to talk to your manager, and I want you to send that over to us so that we can give you credit for it. And we'll figure out the best way to get proof of that. So Todd, why don't we'll work on the best.
I got you one, Brandon.
Okay.
Why don't they email it to contest@quility.com?
I like that.
Even better.
Contest or contests.
Contests.
With an S. Contests at quility.com. Okay. Let us know. We'll validate, verify, add it to your points. Boom. Every single person on this call right now needs to write a QLT on yourself. If you don't have access to it yet, go write 3 other policies, then write QLT on yourself. Every single person needs to know this process. They need to understand what it's like to go through the digital underwriting. Obviously, not everyone can qualify, so we're not talking to everyone specifically, but if you can qualify, if you're within the age limits, if you're within the health limits, you want to see this product because it's unlike anything else out there right now. Casey wrote a policy for $1 million on himself while he was walking from this office to the next office to get his wallet and pay for it. In about 8 or 9 minutes, had a policy in his inbox.
An email on the way back up saying your policy's in your inbox. How crazy is that?
I did mine I did the same thing 2 months ago, did $1 million while we were early on in kind of the trials and that sort of stuff. 9 minutes.
Not only that, Brandon, but the premiums that we pay for these policies are less than the other policies that I got probably 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even for $1 million. It's just like, again, I mean, this is a revolutionary product. No one else in the industry has this, and it is winning against Ethos and Lemonades and all these fully tech companies that are trying to figure things out without agents. So their product better be very innovative, but we're, as far as the process, the platform, everything around QLT is, it's beating these guys out. So, and it's backed by us. It's backed by agents, which is what these other tech companies are missing. They're all trying to start hiring agents now because they're realizing the cost to acquire a client. People don't just wake up and buy life insurance. Some of them do, but the masses don't. They need a nudge. They need someone, even for like term policies and stuff are simple for us to understand. But ask your friends out there if they understand anything about the life insurance world. Most of them don't. They need someone to guide them. And that's what the beauty of Quility is. It's innovative technology that it changes the client experience and the agent experience, but it's backed by the power of professional licensed insurance agents to help guide people and complete the process. So cool.
Yep. Spivey, keep an eye on the chat. You can clear up any questions down there, but I'm going to keep going and maybe I'll clear them up too.
I'm trying to clear them up with a text message too.
34 first place winners, 1 first place winner from each direct organization. Okay. Same way that you count points. Net placed premium. Initially it's submit leaderboards, but it's all net placed in the point system eventually. First place is going to be, as we said, 4-night all expense paid tropical vacation. Second place is $500 in Quility bucks. Third place is up to the managers, and it's going to be something really, really bad, we hope. So I don't know. Everybody take a second in the chat, maybe if you want to. What is a good example of something really, really terrible that you think third or fifth place should be? Okay. Third or fifth place. Because keep in mind, this is for the directs. For Symmetry, for corporate also, for Quility, the overall winner, there'll be one overall winner in corporate and one overall winner on the field. There are 5 winners. First place is not only the trip, but an upgrade. Second place is $1,000. Excuse me. Second place and third place are either a trip to Asheville to the Bull Creek Lodge or a trip to the lake house at Symmetry's Cranefly Lake House. Fourth place is $1,000 in Quility bucks. Fifth place is something really, really terrible. Have we got any good ideas yet?
Oh, we got some.
I mean, I'm just dying over here. Somebody said a trip.
I'm trying to read and I want to go look at the Q&A and I can't.
No offense to anybody that lives there, but somebody said a trip to Myrtle Beach.
That's my favorite one too. That's a good one.
Barf cart. Oh yeah, remember that time we gave away a used urinal?
Yep, that was a classic. And then
That
the
was great
80s,
because
the
we
polio vaccine from the 80s is great too.
remember we put a little water in that used urinal and splashed it on somebody and made them think.
Yeah,
Oh, Jelly of the Month Club. Some barf cart.
you gotta be you gotta be scratching your head after I sent you on an adventure in Myrtle Beach. I mean, come on, that's not punishment.
I know. Oh, that's good stuff.
Just some it may. To me, I'm down, man.
Ah,
Here's the overall winner circle. I kind of got ahead of myself. You will get an upgrade. You'll get an extra night. Second place, you're going to get a 5-day getaway at the retreat of your choice. As I said, you got the Bull Creek Lodge or the Lake House. Here's the Lake House. Here's the Bull Creek Lodge.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Fourth place, $1,000. Fifth place, something bad. There you go.
That's awesome. Ethan called me yesterday, probably called you too, Brandon, and said, what y'all's how nice do you want this trip to be? This the number one trip for the prize winners. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, what if it's maybe even nicer than the Four Seasons in Costa Rica? And I was like, well, first of all, how is that even possible? And he kind of explained it to me, and I was like, well, heck yeah, let's go. Let's go for this.
I know.
So I think Ethan's going to find something really cool.
If I know Ethan, he's going to deliver, man.
I think so too.
You know, he's got taste. And the cool thing about this trip is it's going to be different than any trip, just like this contest is different than anything that we've ever done.
Yep.
There will be a lot of directs there. There'll be just a ton of top performers there that are in your circle.
Yep.
You know, there will be some founders there. Not sure which ones quite yet. Hopefully all of them.
Could be all 3 of them. Yep.
But we'll see. Yep. And then last but not least, we have a contest for all of the directs, the actual managers going against each other. And that's a really exciting one. Okay. The things that we're going to track for that one, which I don't have on this PowerPoint, but I've got right here in an old trusty gridded notebook. We are taking the average for every direct for the year by the month. Premium that they place over that average gets to count towards their APV. So this evens the playing field. Okay. They're also getting points for licensed recruits in their direct organization, 1,000 points per, 1,000 points per SNA agents, and 1,000 points per slingshotted agents. Okay. There will also be a point system, just like we're doing with this one. So it resets every month. Okay. We're going to do the top 10, and it will be based upon 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just like that. And last but not least, after the 4 months, as we move into conference, there's a separate leaderboard. And you get points based on how many people you actually have show up to conference, not just that registered, but that actually attended conference. All the directs know this. We've talked with them about this last week, and they helped us build this contest, both of these contests. Okay. A little bit of fine print on the agent one. Someone just texted me. We are doing a true up after February. Anybody with a sub 60% net placement rate gets docked 25% of the point total that they've received. Maybe they've gotten 30 points as an example. They'll get docked 25% from that, which would more than likely knock them out of winning.
So issue that business.
So if the directs win, what do those look like? And if I'm helping my manager, my direct manager, win the heck out of this thing. All right, because in doing so, I'm going to give myself a shot to win also. First place is going to be a Bull Creek Lodge retreat with a 5-day, 4-night Asheville, North Carolina retreat, including a day with you and me, Casey. Maybe Pope will be in town. Also a day with a leadership retreat with Brian Williamson. Maybe we go out to Cedar Creek Farms. Maybe we ride some dirt bikes. Maybe we shoot some guns, do some fun stuff. We'll kind of let the directs tell us what they and their folks want to do. But this is going to be a dandy.
Guys, that's a 7-bedroom house too. So it's intended for you to be able to bring some of your top performers and folks that help you get to that championship.
That's right. There's a second place win as well. You'll get a 2-hour coaching session for you and your team with Brian Williamson and the Quility coaches. And of course, there's a third place, which is like a polio vaccine, a urinal, or tetanus shot, or something. We'll see.
Barf cart.
Could be barf cart in front of everybody. I love those. So those are the contests. I'm sure there will be questions, many of which can be answered on HQ once all the details get released there. The main thing that I want everyone to focus on, and the reason we built the contest the way that we do, you should always look at a contest and just by looking at how we're calculating points and what we're tracking, it should show you where we want you focused for the rest of the year. And if you were to boil all this down to the simple, if I'm a producer, I'm focused on how many applications I can get, how much premium I can get, how many people and families that I can serve, which is really going to be based on how much activity I can put in. How many leads can I purchase? How many dials can I make? Contacts can I make? How many sales can I make? That's how you win. And I also get $1,000 per recruit, which is basically the size of one app on average, a little bit less than one app on average. So it's a 2-box contest, Casey. How do you fill 2 boxes?
Yep.
How many apps you get, how much production you get, and how many recruits you get. It really is that simple.
Yep. The common denominator with all of our contest winners is I guarantee you at the end of the month, end of the contest, their tongues were hanging out and their brains were fried. There's just a level of a level of work ethic that goes into filling both of those boxes that you just kind of got to get yourself out of that comfort zone. It's like, it's like trying to swing. It's trying to, hit a home run, which congrats, by the way, to the Braves last night. It was pretty sweet.
I can't believe we didn't say that.
But you got to swing those heavy bats. That's what a contest does. It kind of gets you, it's swinging a heavy bat so that when you go back to normality, that bat that you are holding feels a lot lighter. Contests get you out of a comfort zone. They get you in a position where you create different habits for yourself in that contest period. Even if you don't win the contest, the prize of it all, these prizes we're talking about aren't the real prize. The real upside, the real ROI on a contest like this is the habits that you create in competing for them.
Yep.
So everyone on this call should be using this contest not only as a target and a way to possibly win a really cool trip or a used journal, but you should really be using it as a way to prepare yourself, create habits, and get yourself ready for a monster 2022.
Yeah, perfectly said. Now, one last thing that I think we should talk about, because you brought it up. The Braves won the World Series last night. I know that not everyone on the call, obviously, Braves fans, there's probably plenty of Astros fans, plenty of Dodgers fans, plenty of fans, but I think there's a lot of really cool lessons that came out of that championship run. Historical, right? And here's why it was historical. They're only the second team in history to win a World Series while being sub 500 at the All-Star break. Okay. At that same moment, they lost their star player and arguably the best or one of the best players in all of baseball. And many people, including me and you, Todd, had basically written them off because they'd also lost one of their ace pitchers in Soroka. Okay. So they got every single thing stacked against them at the midpoint way of the season. At that point, they had a 7.3% chance of even making the playoffs. And what do? They redefine the whole club like that. They reimagine like that. They go out and they recruit an entire new outfield. Mm-hmm. One of those players went on to be the World Series MVP in Soler, who hit a ball out of the stadium last night. Another one of those players was the NLCS MVP in Rosario. He was hurt when he came on board. So what is the lesson here? Like, how can you take a lesson away, or what can you take away from what they went through? They got kicked in the gut, man. They were down halfway there. And what did they do? They went out and they recruited 4 new people that completely changed everything for their organization. Yep. Everything. Everybody on this call is going to get kicked in the gut. You're going to feel like you've already been beat. You're going to feel like there ain't no chance in keeping on fighting for your dreams because there's no way that you're going to make it. And if you think that way, you will be right. But if you don't, and you think, I'm always, Casey, one person away from changing my business. I'm always one person. I don't care if I've lost 10. I am one person away from changing my business. And the only way to go find that one person is to go find that one person. And you may have to go through 40 people to find them. But when you believe that to be true, then you can't sit still. Yep. You want to go find them. Right. You don't know who your Soler is going to be, or who your Rosario is going to be, or who your crazy agent that's going to be, like Jocktober that came to the World Series and the playoffs with a pearl necklace.
That's right.
Spiky hair.
You don't know who's going to be your Adam Duvall that hits 3 home runs in the World Series. You don't know any of these things, but you got to go recruit them. You got to listen to Max Day and you got to go recruit them. So let America's team, or at least what we used to consider America's team back on the TBS days, teach you this lesson. And you know what else is a great lesson? The last thing I'll say is the head coach, Brian Snitker, was in the organization for 45 years before he was giving a major league head coaching job. In the Braves organization for 45 years, he was demoted. He went backwards. He won, and then he would be demoted. You know what he does? He sticks it out. He doesn't quit. He has a conversation with his spouse that says, is this what we want to do? What are we willing to sacrifice to get it? They came with that plan. They stuck it out, and 45 years into it, he gets the call and makes the playoffs for 4 years in a row. In his 5th year, wins a World Series.
That's pretty cool.
I'm telling
That's
you,
a cool story.
That is some cool stories. Go read some articles on Brian Snitker, and you may still not like the Braves, but I promise you will be a fan of that man. He is a really cool guy. So with that, we should probably turn it over to our guest speakers. And I'm really sorry, Audrey, but I know you understand because you're a Braves fan. You told me that earlier.
Yes, totally a
Audrey,
Braves
you're a Braves fan?
Yes, she's been following the Braves for
Every time I learn something about Audrey, it's more awesome.
Years.
No.
She started
I know who told you that, Brandon.
She told me that she was a big Braves fan because they used to start at like 7:05 instead of 7 o'clock. So she was able to remember when they started. TBS
right, yeah.
Shout out to Ted Turner.
I'm going to send her a box of swag.
See? That's what you get.
I love it. I love it.
Sorry that we took all of your time. I'm sorry, but there were so many really good things to cover. And I want everybody to stick with us for the next hour because you've got a lot of good stuff to cover with us as well. Maybe give us a sneak peek of what's to come.
Sure. Yeah. Well, again, thanks so much for having us. I'm truly honored. And again, I've learned just so much through these analogies and from our call so far. I mean, I'm pumped, guys. I'm just fired up with excitement with these contests, with all the talk about recruiting and the builders call about, what Max has been doing. I'm just fired up. But, I love, Brandon, what you just said about the Braves and how they didn't have a chance in hell at winning this World Series. And that really just brought me back to where I was about a little over a year and a half now, I've been an agency owner for almost 3 years, believe it or not. And, about a year and a half ago, I basically lost my all-star team. I was back down to almost a one-woman show. I had been an agency owner, was building a really great team. We had a lot of really great momentum. I had actually just broken out my first agency owner. I became an agency director. And then shortly thereafter, they all decided to leave and go to a competitor. So I was back. I had gotten that big kick in the gut. And I was like, wow, okay, so what do I do now? And, I started from square one. I just kept believing in the system, kept pushing on. And the people that I brought on the call with me today, Anthony Mendicino and Leanna Mason, they have been that new recruited all-star team that, is really going to help push us through the rest of this year and next year and really help me to build that legacy for my family. So yeah, I love that analogy. I just can't relate to that more than what you just said. So I'm really excited. I think we've a lot of really good things that we hope to bring value to everyone today. Kind of just talking about, where we start, how we grow in this business, how this business has changed since I started. It's gonna be really good. I'm really excited.
Well, we are so proud of you and happy to be here. And Casey went through that. I went through that. Every manager goes through that, and you either get better or you get bitter. And people come and go. People look for the grass that's always greener. Generally, the grass is greener when there's more crap around it. That's what we've always found out. And that's just part of it. But the getting better versus getting bitter part is we can say, oh, well, those people were stupid, or we can say, what could I have done better? Who do I need to become to be the type of leader that people want to follow? And I think that's exactly what you did, Audree. And I think the numbers kind of speak for themselves, up to 130,000 a month. You've got Leanna Mason who's on here with us, up to almost 70,000 a month from 40,000 3 months ago. And then you've got Anthony Mendicino, who was, 15,000 a month producer, now up to, I think October finished at just shy of $32,000 a month. So all those graphs are heading the right way. So we're going to turn it over to you, Spivey. Unless you have anything else to add, I will shut up because I've been talking too much already.
Thank you so much for coming on, Audree, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you. And we've had some fun conversations and dealt with some interesting situations with clients here recently. But love your spirit, love who you are. Leanna too, just such a warm soul. Every time I get to talk to her on a Zoom, she makes my heart warm, and just appreciate Leanna so much. And then absolutely can't wait to hear from Anthony. We've heard from him a couple times on different training platforms, and the guy is freaking solid. So great call, guys. We're going to be listening in, and turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. Alrighty, everyone. Well, again, I'm just so honored to be on this call with everyone today. Again, I am Audree Bobinger. I'm direct to the one and only Darren Stubbs, who coincidentally happens to be my dad. So I was brought into the business in, what was it? August of 2017 was my first conference with Symmetry in Raleigh, North Carolina. And my dad had been trying to recruit me to the business for a couple of months. I was still active duty in the Navy during that time. So I really was trying to figure out, as I was transitioning off of active duty, what I was going to do with my life, what I wanted to be when I grew up. And, my dad said, hey, come to this conference, come check this thing out for yourself. And I was like, all right, sure, I'll come check it out. And I don't know, Brandon, Casey, I don't know if you guys remember this, but when I first met you and Brian at that kind of AO's cocktail hour right before conference, my dad prepped me a little bit. He just said, hey, we're going to go meet some of the leadership, have a drink, just kind of before the conference starts. And I remember meeting you and Casey and Brian and you guys all just being so laid back as you are now. And, I knew that you were the owners, but I didn't really grasp the gravity of the situation and really realize, what I was about to witness until you guys got up on stage the next day. And you're like, hey, we're Brandon, Casey, and Brian. We're the founders of Symmetry Financial Group. And I was just shocked. My mind was blown just at the massive, amount of people and warmth and the culture that you guys had created. And so I just was so blessed to be a part of that. And basically from that cocktail hour, I was hooked after meeting you guys and after meeting Ashley Tarr and after meeting, Edward Pritchett and Brian DeLay. I mean, it's just all the amazing leadership. I've been so privileged to build these personal connections with over the years, that's where I started, and that's where I grew from that moment. So thank you again so much for having us on the call today. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on, again, Leanna Mason's here, Anthony Mendicino, if you want to jump on real quick, kind of give your background here, Anthony. But, tell us, Anthony, a little bit about your journey here at Symmetry. We're going to kind of start you from the beginning of where we all start, which is, again, at the beginning with the end in mind. But and then we'll go to Leanna, and Leanna's going to share some of her journey here at Symmetry, where she started, where she's at now. But Anthony, just take a second to introduce yourself, give us an idea of your background, where you came from, how you found Symmetry, and then really what you've been able to do here at Symmetry, moving from your first full year, which you've done here now, into your second year here at Symmetry.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Audrey. Appreciate it. I'm Anthony Mendicino, direct to you, Audrey, out of Philadelphia, PA. I wanted to say thank you to Brian, Brandon, and Casey for the amazing opportunity that we have here. I feel very blessed to be here at Symmetry. Quick about my background, I come from sales and sales management background. I spent 20 years in the same field in the seafood industry. Last position I held there was vice president of sales. Kind of got tired of losing the battle of money, trading time for money. You found me, Audrey, or I found you, I should say, on a ZipRecruiter ad. And today I'm going to talk to you guys specifically about the importance of investing in yourself in the first year. So I came to Symmetry as an unlicensed agent in a field I knew little about. And a year ago, I came here with the mindset, I came here with the mindset that I was here to learn about this industry and to be successful in the industry. A year later, my mindset has shifted with the understanding that I'm here to learn about myself and to be a success in life. And that shift is from the Symmetry culture and from the people I now get to associate with. My first true realization of that philosophy or mindset was during a Sunday night Danny Young call. And Danny Young said these words. He said, year one, you're going to find yourself. Year two, you're going to learn about the insurance business. And year three, you're going to go boom. And guys, I come from a sales background where success is linked to your quarterly and yearly numbers. So I was kind of taken back by this. I questioned why Danny Young was saying that in the first year I would find myself when I knew I had so much to learn about the insurance business. So I was kind of pondering that, like, I'm being told to find myself. And at the time, I didn't even really know that I was lost, but I was. And a lot of people come here with the theme of being broken. I came here just being broken. But the good news is that Symmetry was everything that I needed it to be. For the first time in 15 years, it took me well outside of my comfort zone. It was really hard and it was a struggle, especially in the beginning. And it would test me mentally, but it would also remind me how tough I am. So it reminded me of the beauty of struggle and how that leads to opportunity and growth and eventually success. So Danny Young saying in year one, you find yourself is like that famous Abraham Lincoln quote. And that's, if you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. So understanding the importance of sharpening the axe has allowed me to be a better CEO of my business, a better CEO in life, a better father, a better husband, and a better advocate for my clients. And it's given me Symmetry. So I just want to talk briefly about the third part of what Danny said, and that's going boom here and what that can look like. Because again, maybe as a new agent, you're thinking that if I could just pay my bills and work from home, or if I could just save up enough to go on a vacation, I'd be happy. But I dare you guys to dream bigger. Recently, we have a recommended book of the month, and our recent book was The Prayer of Jabez. And in the book, Jabez prays to God that he be blessed, that God would bless him and indeed enlarge his territory. So he's asking God to meet his ambition and his vision with opportunity. And we too get to dream big here. We can make a difference in our community and in the lives of our children and our children's children. We can make a difference in the lives of our clients and our clients' children. And I think that that's what going boom can mean at Symmetry. So again, as a new agent, I just dare you to dream a little bigger and to seize the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and Anthony, tell me a little bit more about, what did that journey look like for you in that year one? I mean, I know obviously you started reading a lot more books than you'd ever read before, myself included. What did you, other than what you said, as far as learned about your mental toughness in year one, how did you grow in the business in year one? Because if there's one thing that I can say about you, Anthony, as far as, in really just being the best Symmetry, agent, the best model of a Symmetry agent is that, you were always asking for coaching. You were always asking, how can I do better? You were always checking in. You were always keeping track of your metrics. You were always dialing. What would you say has been the biggest thing that you've learned, not only about your personal development, but about your business development throughout your first year here at Symmetry?
I think, good question, Audrey. I think we put a lot of emphasis on how good the lead system is here, and it is. It's great. The leads are awesome. But I think that the other thing that's really awesome at Symmetry is the training. So, to answer your question, I think just to come in, I came in from a position, of leadership and authority in my last job, and to come in not knowing anything about this business, just being coachable was important to me. Like for me to just kind of come in with a blank slate, say, okay, I'm going to absorb this. I'm going to trust the system, and I'm going to take the training because the training is phenomenal here. You can listen to a SoundCloud or jump on HQ Quality, and you can truly learn from an expert. And I don't use that word lightly. Like there's some really, really amazing people here and amazing trainers. So whatever you need to learn about this business, it's at your fingertips. So just being coachable, again, coming in and not trying to rewrite the system, but to come in and follow the system is what I think that's what made me, do fairly well here in my first year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think, again, as you're moving, you've completed your first year here, you've learned so much about yourself, you've mastered, the basics, right? Darren uses this analogy of learning to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches first, right? So you kind of mastered the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Now you're moving on to a little bit more advanced markets. You're starting to learn how to make Cuban sandwiches. And then before you know it here, you're going to be a master sushi chef, rolling different rolls with 7 different types of fish and all kinds of different sauces and stuff. So what would you say has been, has there been a mindset shift for you as you've kind of moved from learning so much about yourself, setting that groundwork for that, good foundation of leadership that you have more experience in than I do? I mean, you were in this industry for 20 years as a VP, as, someone who has hired and fired, hundreds of people in your career. How is that different from where you've been to where you are now and as you're building a team at this point?
So when I came in, I think that I operated in like my comfort zone for a really long time. I worked in an industry for 20 years. I know it like the back of my hand. So when I came here, like I had said a little while ago, I was operating outside of my comfort zone for the first time in a really long time. And I think that I was kind of playing it a little safe. So I have some things that I wrote down that helped me. They're more mindset things, but I think that that's really important, like I said, in your first year, because this will test you. One of them is a quote, and the quote is, "The key to success is to double your rate of failure." I think that that's really important for somebody starting here, to just have movement, to do it. Another way of us saying that is massive action, constant correction. And I would just add to that to be aware of your mindset when you're moving and failing and learning. And then I also have a creed that I kind of developed. And feel free, if you're either a new agent or you're struggling, to write these things down. But these are what was important to me in the beginning. The first one is that I will embrace and believe in the system. You kind of just touched on that, but if you follow the system here, guys, and you embrace the system and you believe, you'll be successful. The second is to not play it safe and to not be afraid to fail. The third is to be aware and constantly improve your mindset while you're struggling and learning something new and going through adversity. And then the fourth, and you kind of had said this already, Audrey, is begin with the end in mind. So they're my 4 takeaways for the first year. That's what I kind of refer to as my creed. I keep it on my desk. I read it, and I just try to follow that.
Yeah, and that's perfect. I mean, I think those are some applicable, steps that people can take right now, today, kind of if you're new, if you're just getting started, and really, like you said, because again, as it was kind of mentioned earlier in the call, I mean, this is a completely different, field for most of us. It's a completely different shift in mindset, going from an employee to an employer mindset. And I know Leanna is going to talk a little bit about that here in just a few minutes. But one of the things that I was also reading recently is that, psychological research, and I'm sure Brian Williamson could probably chime in on this too, but has found that the anticipation of an event is always more charged. It's always a more charged emotional experience than the event itself. We always tend to imagine things to be far worse than it ever really is. And you extend that pain by procrastinating that action. So like you said, Anthony, if you would just act, if you would make that commitment, if you would just decide, then the pain would be far less severe, and it would be over before you know it. So would you kind of agree with that statement, that if you just make that commitment, you just decide, you just jump in, whether it's with recruiting or dialing or going in home or literally anything, that it's, just pick up the phone. It's
Absolutely.
that anticipation that kills you, but actually doing the event isn't quite so bad.
Yeah, I think that's where the movement comes in. Like, and we talk about just like making your first dials, make your first 20, commit to that. It's okay to be nervous. It's just not okay to have the scared feeling sort of stop you in your tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So once you start moving, and I remember someone saying on a SoundCloud that he remembers being intimidated in grade school when the teacher told him that he had to tie his shoes for the first time, that they were going to learn how to tie their shoes. And just think of how simple that is, and just how simple it is to be nervous about something like that. And then he says, now I can tie my shoes so much better with that thought, obviously, right? I mean,
Right.
Think about the first time you dialed to making, dials, like when we listen to say your father dial on Facebook. It just becomes second nature. So the things that you're afraid of in the beginning, if you just put movement to, will be much easier once you do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. Do you have any other kind of final thoughts before we kind of move on to Leanna and she can share her experience as far as, again, now you're in year 2. And as Danny said, you learn insurance in year 2, right? So again, in year 1, you kind of mastered the peanut butter and jelly, the mortgage protection. What's kind of your focus now as you're moving into year 2 to continue to build and grow with, in your journey here with Symmetry?
Well, I think that knowing that, in my last career, I thought that there was a pinnacle, there was a top. But if you're self-improving and you're conscious of just being the journey of self-improvement, that it's an everlasting journey. So I look forward to continuing to develop myself, to develop my team. Team building is something that, I'm passionate about, something that I did in my last job, my last career. I just want to make the most of this opportunity. I really feel like, I was really looking for something, and I found this, and I feel like I'm at home now. So looking forward to my second year and just kind of, making some waves and taking advantage of the full opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and again, kind of something that you just briefly mentioned, as far as, continuing to grow your personal self, it reminds me of John Maxwell's 21 Laws of Irrefutable Leadership. If you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it. But the first law is law of the lid, right? And if, the law of the lid basically states that your personal growth never ends, but your career potential only, you put a lid on yourself as only as much as you can grow yourself. So as you continue to grow yourself, that lid will continue to rise as you build yourself, as you build your agency. And another, Danny Young also, he's kind of the godfather of our team. He says you will only grow your business as large as you grow yourself. So again, I think that's another really big piece of this and part of our culture. I mean, it's our number 2 core value is relentless pursuit of personal growth. Relentless means never ceasing, right? So it's not like once you get to agency owner, that stops. I mean, again, we have a whole, Brian Williamson and his whole team, they are committed and dedicated. That's their focus, is to continue to build leaders. So again, Anthony, as far as you and what you're going to accomplish here, I mean, yeah, we've brought on some really great teammates for your team. I'm really excited for where you guys are headed. And again, I think you'll be agency owner here pretty soon. We're running for key leader at the end of this year. So yeah, I think that year 2 and year 3, I mean, again, you've helped my business again grow from where it was a year and a half ago, which was a one-woman show basically, to my boom in my 3rd year, and really helped to propel me to where I am. So I'm grateful for you, grateful for your team, and for your leadership and everything you've taught me so far. So thank you so much for sharing with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Audree. Likewise, I appreciate you as much.
No problem. All right, Leanna, are you out there with us? Okay, you're muted there. Go ahead and unmute. And so again, Leanna Mason, elite producer, agency owner, coincidentally also happens to be my mom. So I am grateful to have brought her into the business, and she kind of saw the opportunity with what we were doing. And, it was just too good not to share with her. So Leanna, just take a minute, tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously I could do that, but I'll let you kind of give everyone your background, where you were before Symmetry, and then kind of just share with us, now that you're in your, kind of 3rd year, you've had your 2nd year of really learning the business. I mean, that's when you went elite producer, you became an agency owner in your 2nd year. Now you're moving into your 3rd year. You're really going boom right now. You're recruiting, a massive agency. So tell us a little bit about you, and then, again, your journey from beginning to where you are now as an agency owner.
Sure. Again, thank you for letting us talk today. I appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, I started teaching music when the kids were little in my home, just so that I could be home with the kids. And then that kind of turned into a business. And my dad is a master carpenter, built 30 carnival games for the kids' school carnivals, and kept buying more sound equipment and more concessions and DJing and doing karaoke and dessert trucks and just all kinds of fun stuff growing up, just doing all kinds of events with our business. And so that was kind of, my mindset was just always having my own business. My dad was an entrepreneur his whole life and never was very good at being an employee. And I never was either. And my dad kept saying, do insurance or go sell real estate or something. And I'm like, that's way too boring. No way. That was not something I really ever wanted to do. But I'm pretty blue. I'm pretty analytical. If you know that color code from Taylor Hartman is, I'm very analytical. I mean, if you know Darren, he's very red. I'm very blue, more analytical. Audree and Devin got the best of both of us, thank goodness. But my kids say I have a checklist for my checklist. And so the journey of me, the studying and the learning and the growth that had to come, I mean, that is the number one thing that we have to focus on in that very beginning. My mom taught history when she was, when we were young. She had 6,000 books in her house. She loved music, loved learning, and taught all of us the love of learning. And so that was been instilled in me since I was little. And so just, that's probably one of the biggest things, is that as we learn that has to be where it starts, as Audree said, that we can't grow bigger than our business. I got my license literally about October of 2017, but really didn't get started till conference then of 18, and then saw the vision of what, Audree and Devin were doing and Darren was doing so well. And I'm like, wait, I got to do that too. I don't want to be left out for sure. And so as COVID shut down and all the events shut down, we were loving life, and I was kind of wanting to retire anyway. I was part-time insurance, and then went full-time. Audree, we have a retail space here in Tacoma, Washington, and we love it. It's huge, and a lot of agents were here, and then they all went home for COVID, and we brought in other renters. But, from driving all over to being virtual, our business grew. It was just a blessing. It was just the perfect time to go full time, and just really focus on it. And of course, there's struggles, and getting through all of those trials of that first year and learning and getting through the system and plugging in and really dialing down, what we had to do to really be successful and having that mindset. I mean, from the very beginning, what do you want to accomplish? As we've talked about so many times, I mean, the personal growth, it's in our core values, it's in our 4 cornerstones, as I have stuff all over my walls and goals and quotes and stuff that to really help us to focus and that law of attraction that we have to have, that mindset of where we're going, what goals have we set for ourselves. But probably the biggest thing too is learning to plug into that system. As we know, save yourself time, energy, and money. And so they've done it before. We've got to copy that best cat. We've got to copy our leaders that came before us, our mentors that are so many. I mean, we couldn't name them all, but whether it's, and we all come from a different background. We all come from different walks of life, whether it was me and being a DJ, and I went on a mission for my church down to South Carolina, where we have our amazing Delia helping with our East Coast team now and serving and then down in South Carolina. Whether that was making a couple extra $1,000 a month that Sandy wanted to do, being a stay-at-home mom, and whether you want to make $20,000 a month or $200,000 a month, it's all in that mindset of what you want to accomplish. And it doesn't matter where you are on that path, it's that you're on the path and that you're learning and you're growing, and whether you're a new agent and just getting started, or whether you're, almost to be an AO, or either an AO, or whether you're growing to be an equity partner. Do you want to be an equity partner? Do you want to have a big team? Do you want to be on the production side? Do you want to build? Set those goals and help yourself to find that fit that's best for you. And just don't quit. Struggles are real. I mean, one of my favorite quotes, and, the other thing about being a product of the business, I mean, we take tons of notes in notebooks. If you haven't heard that before, I mean, I type them all up, being my analytical nature. This is my textbook. I put, Lisa and I did a breakout. We put all of my favorite quotes together, just so that you have to change that mindset of where you're at and what you want to accomplish, and get out of that poor mentality, of being an employee versus being now you're in business for yourself. As Darren, CEO mindset, you have to realize you're now the owner of your own business. That's going to be different than what maybe you're used to, and to change that. And I got that all from, my amazing dad, not wanting to punch that time clock. So on that journey to becoming that CEO, there's a lot of different comparisons. And I just want to go through those really quick. Audree, do you want me to do that now? Go through those.
Before you do that, I just kind of wanted to touch on something that you had said as far as, changing your mindset, finding an emotional home. Tony Robbins, who's one of my favorite motivational and inspirational success leaders, he says that we all have an emotional home, and those are the habits of our emotion, and that habit of your emotion, that is what determines the quality of your life. And the quality of your life equals the quality of your habitual emotions. And so again, as you're shifting from, being a new agent to becoming a leader of yourself, mastering your mindset personally, mastering your calendar, then growing into a leader, mastering, how relationships between other people, helping to develop those leaders in what ways that work for them. Something that really sticks out to me is that, not everyone stays here, right? We've said, people come and go. This business isn't for everyone. And as you're establishing your business and as you're establishing your agency, something that I learned, and again, I'll get back to what you said, Leanna, as far as building my own team, again, kind of from the ground up. And something I learned out of this book, Traction. If you haven't read it, it was recommended from corporate as one of our leaders' books, but it talks a lot about creating your own culture. Hi, Brian. I loved that book, Brian. I mean, if you want to chime in, feel free. But I loved that it was so hands-on. It was so applicable. And it talks, it's a little bit more for the corporate structure, but I think everything was so applicable here because it talks about establishing those first 10 things, establishing your vision, establishing your core values, where determining who and what is going to be a part of your organization and how you're going to get there. And I think that Symmetry has already done a lot of that heavy lifting for us, right? I mean, they have their own core, we have our 8 core values we cast the vision of where we're going every single week. But I think as an individual leader, you also have to think of your own core values. I know, Leanna, you and I work side by side, so it kind of intermingles. But, you know, I think that one of the best things is that failure in this business, or in any business really, is never a lack of resources, but rather a lack of resourcefulness. Would you agree with that, Brian? Because I mean, again, I just think it's crucial.
Sure.
What we learned here so far.
I don't want to interrupt your flow. I've been cheering you on the whole time. You guys are dropping so much practical wisdom here. But yes, absolutely. I think the traction piece and just all the things you said, it's not about the book. It's about the tools that help you to actually be resourceful and actually prioritize your business, your activity, the things that are going to bring results. So yeah, spot on. Now keep going.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for chiming in with us. We appreciate you. So again, Leanna, sorry for interrupting. I just wanted to get to that while we were talking about it. So go ahead.
Well, and that's the thing, is that we all come from different walks of life. I mean, you know, we learn the system, we've got to plug into the system, but we all come with so much, you know, background, you know, whether it was Kyle and Lisa that went 25 months to equity partner, I mean, the fastest in the company, I believe, or Miranda Martin, I've got a picture on my door. I mean, I love her to death. I love her, but Audrey said, "Do not cry, Mom." You know, she's my inspiration. I mean, it doesn't matter like where you're at, however long that you've taken, how long that you've come, what you've come here with, those skills, is that you just keep going. And that what you persist in doing becomes easier. Not that the nature of the thing has changed, but the power to do it has increased. And that's the thing, you have to just keep going. The difference between the employee, and again, this is a product of our system. I mean, this is from Mike Pappas that we got from one of our boot camps. We love Sarah and Michael. Anyways, so the employee mindset is, you know, maximum pay for minimum effort, right? I mean, how often did that happen when you're at work? Employee mindset, the maximum pay for the maximum effort. The employee mindset, who they want vacations, they want more time off, they want free time. Or the entrepreneur that wants a lifestyle. We want to be able to create something that we've got that time and money combination. Employee mindset, you know, is reactive, and they're controlled by others, and they're controlled by emotion. Whereas the employee or the entrepreneur mindset is being proactive. We're taking care of the big stuff. We're pushing through. We're focusing on what's really important, and we're, you know, not sweating the small stuff, right, Brian? And just get it done. That get it done mentality. You know, an employee wants to spend time just working, just getting through it, getting to the end of the day, getting to the weekend. Whereas the entrepreneur is focused on getting the results, getting on the horse, getting it done. That power of productivity. What are we going to accomplish? Setting those goals, tracking those goals, doing our metrics, doing our activity reports every day. The employee mentality is seeing the cost. What is this costing me? I'm giving up this, or I want to do this, or I want to go party with friends. Whereas the entrepreneur sees the big investment, sees the big picture, sees the investment of time and resources. I mean, right now, most everything I make, I mean, it's not 50-50. It's going all back into my business right now, into recruiting, into the, you know, helping with admin and getting all of that back into my business. I mean, it drives me crazy to not be on the top of the leaderboards right now. And Audrey and I used to be on production leaderboards all the time. But again, you have to kind of say, it's okay, we're building now. That's the time. It's a time and season for everything. And to really train others to become what I could do. And I mean, I was scared to go AO, and I didn't want to step out, and Audrey and Devin and Darren were doing great. And I'm like, I'm good. You guys are all better teachers than me. I'll just stay in the background. I'll just do my thing. And I had to really step out to say, you know what, I can do this. I've been a leader. I've taught many times. I've done this. I love to do it. I'm a DJ. I don't mind being behind a microphone, but it just was that mentality and that changing that mindset that I can do it. And now to teach others what we've done and what you've done, whether it's going a team leader or a key leader or AO or whatever it is. If you've done it, now you have to teach it and learn it and give it. So yeah, act like a boss. I mean, just be the boss, treat this as a business, not like a hobby, massive action, constant correction. You know, that's the thing that if you don't realize the investment of what it's going to take from the very beginning. I mean, that's why our interviews are so much more specific. I mean, it was just kind of like, I would bring on anybody and, oh, Audrey, got another one. I was just like, Mom, be more specific, dial it down. You're going to have to work with these people and train them, and you don't want to waste time. Find the ones that you really want to work with. They're going to duplicate the system. They're going to plug in, because my time got super valuable. I literally don't have much time to type up my notes much anymore. I mean, I'm working, way long hours. But again, that's what you do as an entrepreneur. So.
Yeah. Well, and I think a couple of things I wanted to chime in here as far as, being proactive with your time. I think Brian Delaney, either it was on a builder's call or something, but I love what he said is that, we get to choose the player, but not who plays. So I think that really goes into, again, as we're starting to build and, as you're starting to look at, building your own agency, like you said, taking over that CEO mindset of, I want to bring people on that are going to, one, fit within my organization because they fit the culture, meaning, they see this, share the same vision, they have the same core values, they really want it. And like Leanna said, I don't give my time to anyone that doesn't earn it, that doesn't ask for it, and that's why Anthony is on this call today. That's why Anthony is where he is because he is always asking for my time. He is always looking for coaching. He's humble. He is motivated. I mean, him and his teammates, and as you're, again, back to traction, this book is as you're hiring people, because we're going to kind of shift into this building mindset because, we've been, like Leanna said, we were producers, we were on the top of the leaderboards, and until you, this is also wisdom from Ashley Tarr and Brian Delaney, but until your agency is doing $200,000 a month, you should be leading by example. And myself included, which is why this last month was one of my best months I've had since going top producer. I think I finished out at like 34,000 last month. But you should be doing at least $20,000 a month in personal production. Until your agency is running 200,000 on its own, you should be leading by example. Because once you hit AO, that doesn't mean you have arrived anywhere and you can just step out of the field. That's when you push the pedal down even harder. To, again, continue to lead by example, to show your team that it is possible to not only build an agency, and recruit and train and, do production and admin things. But again, one of the other key things I took away from Traction was that when you hire the wrong person, it's because he or she doesn't share in those core values, right? They don't fit the culture. And really, that's what will kill you in the long run. And again, I can say that with sure and certainty because I've had a lot of agents come and go, as I'm sure we all have. And it's just simply that they don't fit within the culture. So again, as far as the goal setting goes, as a personal producer, you set your goals for production, you set your goals for things that you can control, such as your activity goals. It's great to set an APV goal. And again, Brian, if you want to chime in here as far as like any of these goal things, but you want to set a realistic goal for your activity, not for what comes on the back end as far as APV or amount of applications or amount of returned packets or, as far as an agency recruiting goal, because you can't control that, right? You can't control how many applications or what clients need. Yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about that, Leanna, as far as the accountability worksheets. And how
as we love Ashley Tarr so much too, one of our other heroes, but her integrity worksheets, I mean, I have mine sitting right here. I literally fill it out each month because it changes as I became an AO, and now it's like on my different focuses. And I don't do $300 dials a week. Just don't do it. I mean, I do more debt-free life. We do IULs. We do bigger volume stuff now that I'm not dialing that much. My activity reports are not that much, but again, we still get that production in. So again, but three things that we can control: the activity, our association, and our attitude. What are those things that we're going to control? How are we going to control those things? What are we going to do to plug in and associate with, and our attitude each day, and being more positive and getting constructive criticism helps. We're going to grow. We're going to change that. We're going to become better. Again, that's just a constantly improvement, massive action, constantly correcting.
Right. And again, a goal not written down is just a fantasy, right? So that's why we have those activities reports. That's why we have mentors to help guide us in this business, to help us to attain those activity goals. But if you don't write it down, if you don't keep track of your metrics, then you're never going to know from where you came. You know,
I think we duplicate, Audrey, one thing too. I think we duplicate Darren, because I mean, I remember Darren, when we'd go and he would have huge, big whiteboards. I mean, he still writes everything on his whiteboard in front of his computer, and Devin's got huge whiteboards every time, and I've got my whiteboard. You just put another one up in your office. So, you know, I mean, again, we getting all of our ad agents, and we keep erasing them, and we change the colors of who's in school and who's active and who's now, you know, inactive. We keep erasing and rewriting and putting new, you know, getting them on faster than they can quit mentality. But again, my goals are there. I see them every day. What do I want to accomplish? You know, I'm looking at those numbers, you know, which I'm not a numbers person. That's all Darren. Audrey's good with that. I am not good with numbers. I thought I could never do this because Darren was always the numbers guy. But again, I brought the heart. And as you know, one of our breakouts with Lisa was, it's not always about the numbers, it's about the heart. And so I figured I do have something to offer. I do have something that I can share, because it is about the heart too. It is those relationships that we're building. It is about those people's lives that we're changing, that whether it's our, you know, our leads in those families, or whether it's agents we bring on. That's the big picture of what we do. And, you know, sometimes we get lost in the numbers, Brian, as you know, but again, it is about the heart and about whose lives we can change by changing our own, focusing inward to be the best person we can be. You know, it just overcoming those fears. And probably one of the most important things, I put this up. This was the very first quote I put up on my computer next to the conference pictures. I put up you know, all of Kyle and Lisa's team. We have a team picture, and I put it up right there. And I'm like, I'm going to be up there with them again. I'm going to be on that stage teaching. And then I put this one. So it's the person you're always meant to be is waiting for you just on the side of the things that you fear. And even being a DJ, I still had that fear to pick up the phone. It was something new and I didn't know what to say. And I was like, Devin's like, Mom, just call on the phone and call, and you get over it. So just through that fear, go forward with faith and know that we love you. We want you to succeed, and that, you know, big time, this is how to do it. And going back to the one thing on the Tony Robbins, Audrey, our other favorite quote from his ever, we do everything in life for two reasons: to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. And, you know, 3 times the amount of the pain, we're going to act more on the pain part than on the pleasure. I mean, you can make those big dream boards and have all those things that are on there. You know, the very front centerpiece is my 2 grandkids, that I want to spend more time with them and not work so many hours. And Audrey yells at me to not work Sundays, to come be with the kids and spend time with them and not work. And you have to take that time to have that personal growth. And I used to sing karaoke all the time, and I rarely do now. I used to listen to music all the time, and now I rarely do. It's just a time of growth, and it doesn't have to take forever. We're not doing this forever. We're not going to do this till we're age 65 and retire. This is a 3 to 5 year plan. We've got to just focus for a few years and we can do this. So anyway, sorry.
Exactly. No, and I love what you said there, because again, that's kind of when people ask me, you know, what is it that Symmetry does, or what is the name of Symmetry even mean? And to me, it means finding that work-life balance. But at the same time, like you just said, this is a 3 to 5 year plan. I mean, you're going to get a little out of balance in the short term, so that way you can have long sustained periods of balance in the long term. And especially with where we're headed right now, with the vision of the founders and the entire team, and again, all this leadership development and where we're going with this IPO. I mean, again, that just keeps me up at night and really helps to fuel my drive to really continue to push towards those goals that we all have as a collective here at Symmetry, right? But one of the other things that I think I've kind of learned is that extraordinary accomplishment does not guarantee extraordinary joy. And, you know, the joy, happiness, love, that sense of meaning, is that those 2 skill sets feed off of each other. But it makes me believe that success without fulfillment is failure. So if you're succeeding here, but you're not finding the joy along the way, then really you're doing yourself a disservice. And you're doing a disservice to your clients, to your agents, because you're not going to be fulfilled in the reasons of your why as to why you're here, right? Because this isn't an easy business. I mean, anyone will tell you that. Anyone that's gotten to agency owner, anyone that's gotten to equity partner, it's not an easy road to go down. But I guarantee you that they will tell you that the blood, the sweat, the tears, the hours of commitment, the hours of dedication has made it all worth it. That small time of being out of balance, it has made it so much more worth it to be balanced now. So, any last thoughts for you, Leanna, before I kind of take it up and wrap up our call here, as far as your journey, an applicable tool that you think people should know, as far as, anything that you've learned from dialing, from in-home to presenting, to doing what's best for the clients, from leading from the heart and really building that rapport, to help them. And to, again, how many applications did you write last month? I don't even know. I think you're at 950 total applications. You're close to 1,000 applications in 3 years. You just surpassed $750,000 worth of production in 3 years. So give us a quick tip on how you've done that and how you've become so successful on that side of helping families and truly meeting their needs.
Well, you'd mentioned on that one thing, and I thought about it. I'm like, what is that one thing? And then one of our agents, Blake, was, brand new agent, dialing, hasn't got his license yet, but he's just in there. He said, Leanna, it was amazing for him when he actually got on the phone and just made it, he's like, when I actually doing it, he said, I wasn't just reading a script. And I think that's literally what I kind of thought was the most important thing that I learned when you're changing that, how you're coming across to those families that you're talking to, that it's not just a script, it's not just a lead, that you're just having a conversation. He's like, Leanna, I was just having a conversation with them. I'm like, yep. When you can really learn that you're just talking to these people. And I say, hey, you know what? You'd sent this lead back in. I'm just following up. The case manager assigned to your file. I'm just here to educate you about these new plans. You may have that old death insurance. These are the new plans that have the living benefits. I just want to make sure that you're informed, that you have all the information so that you can make an informed decision. And I think that's my classic line. My mom used to use it when she was selling groceries at the commissary. We worked there for 10 years. Is that we're just here to educate these families, help them to know about these new plans, these new options, and just have that conversation and help them to be educated and, just make it real. And again, back to loving what we do. In the beginning, you're just going through the motions. And I'm like, I don't like insurance. This is too hard. I'm a DJ. I want to go party. I want to get to the weekend so that I can enjoy the weekend and get out of, this hard stuff. I didn't want to dial. I didn't want to do all this. But again, now that it's in your heart and I love it, and I've got amazing agents on your team, I look forward to getting up every day and getting on the phones and talking to agents and leads. And so anyway, it's got to be in your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think another, at least big part of that for me is the fact that we've been on the other side of this business, which is the side that we don't love to talk about, but it's the death claims, right? So seeing the impact that we make through our choices, it defines what type of business and what type of person you're going to be for those families. For instance, I had a family, I'm still working with them now. They were just a regular mortgage protection lead. I went to their house, met with them a couple of times. The husband and wife, they have 3 children. The husband, pretty healthy guy, but just a little bit stockier on the height and weight, the build chart. So it was really difficult for us to find coverage for him. Long story short, been working with him for a year. This was first week of September. This was the morning of my birthday, or my birthday week. So my birthday is the 14th. That family had gone into the hospital. Both the husband and wife had gone to the hospital that prior Tuesday. They'd gone into the hospital for COVID. Okay. My birthday was on the 14th. I got a text message from his wife on the 16th telling me, Audree, my husband just passed away from COVID. And the kicker was that we had finally found a carrier that would do an IUL for him. It was fully underwritten. He was a table 8, but we finally were getting it done. And my sister actually is a phlebotomist. So she was the one who actually did the blood and urine exam. And on her way out to do that, she totaled her car, got in her car accident. So that was a setback. We had an attending physician statement. Long story short, we had tons of setbacks. Okay. The program got approved the day after he died. So she texted me on the 16th. He had died on the 15th. The program got approved on the 16th. So because of that, no death benefit was paid to that family. I am still heartbroken that I did everything in my power to help this family. I've been working with them for a year or so. We've gotten lots of other plans in place. We've gotten, coverage in place for their kids, for his wife. She is okay, but now she's still struggling to, handle all of their affairs because they didn't have that protection in place for him. And I felt so guilty that I could have checked the requirements sooner. I could have called the carrier more often. I could have done X, Y, and Z. Had my sister not totaled her car, we could have gotten that exam done sooner. Just all of these things that now where I'm at in my business and how I've gotten this so ingrained into my heart and into my just being of how Symmetry defines a big piece of my life, that forever has changed me. And I do not wait to get my requirements done. I do not wait to get things issued, because you know what, if you do, that could cost the family so much more than you could ever imagine. Not only is she reeling from the loss of her husband and now her children no longer have a father, I can't sleep at night knowing that I didn't do as much as I could. So a big part of that is that knowing that just because you have arrived at this point of leadership, just because you've gotten to this point of where you are as an agency owner, or even just as a personal producer, now you're starting at the beginning. You're starting again, okay? You're at a different level. Maybe you're at level 4, level 5, but you're back at the bottom of the ladder, and you need to reevaluate, you need to restart, and you need to not be content with the results that you've gotten up into this point. You need to acknowledge the progress that you've made and be excited about those accomplishments and how far you've come, but don't get stuck there. Instead, you need to continually surround yourself with more advanced teachers and competition, and continually upgrade your standards and for the quality of both your work and the contributions that you make, not only to your team, but also to your families that you're looking to help. Because really you are a fluid person. I mean, these goals and these characteristics, it's always an evolving process, right? There's always no end to how much you can change. It only is a matter of what you do and how you do things. So as we're wrapping up here, I want to give you the formula for getting lucky. Okay. Because some people will sit here and say, oh, Audree just got lucky. Her dad's in the business. She was able to, follow him and he helped her get lucky. No, that's not true. If anything, I've had to bust my butt twice as much just to prove to my dad that I could do this on my own. But this comes from one of my other favorite books, very similar to The Slight Edge, but I read actually this book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, prior to reading The Slight Edge, but similar concepts of how little tiny actions every day compound over time and really help to build your life for success. But Darren says that the formula for getting lucky consists of 4 things. Okay. Preparation. And to me, preparation means personal growth. Okay. That's the pillar. One of the 4 cornerstones. It's one of the, core values is that, and again, Brian can contest to this, is all about personal growth in any business, whether that's, insurance, whether it's, land management, whether it's accounting, it doesn't matter. Okay. Second piece of that formula is attitude. Like we said before, there's 3 things you can control: your attitude, your actions, and your association. Your attitude is your belief and your mindset. Okay. Third thing is opportunity. Now, guys, I know that this has been preached, day in and day out, and everyone says all the time, but there could not be a better time to be at Symmetry than there is right now. And I can tell you that from 4 years of experience, from where we've come to where we're going. This is just so exciting. And there's so many good things that are coming our way. Every single time we have a call, my mind is blown. I'm like sitting and having to like recount everything that just happened. I need to go back through the replays and listen to everything that's going on, so I have a full understanding of everything. But this is the best opportunity that you could have found. So we're glad that you're here. But again, at that same token, it's also your responsibility to share this opportunity with everyone. Anyone and everyone you come across, you need to share this opportunity with them, because you never know where they're at in their journey of life. Like Anthony said, he was very successful in his prior business. From the outside looking in, you may think, oh, Anthony doesn't need this. He's, making 6 figures. He's traveling. He's got a great, family life. But, behind closed doors, Anthony wasn't spending enough time with his family that he wanted to. He wasn't feeling very fulfilled in his business. And so that's why he was looking for a new opportunity. So again, your job, even if you're brand new day one agent or the most seasoned person is to share the opportunity, give that person an opportunity to look at this business for themselves through their own eyes, as I did, not taking my word for it, not taking my dad's word for it, but, letting them make that decision on their own and then deciding whether or not this is something that they want to associate with. So that's the opportunity. Again, key number 3. And then number 4 is action. You have to take action. And something that Ashley Tarr said, I can't remember where she said it, but this comes to anything, anyone or anything, is that you trust only motion. So for me, when I'm building or as I'm mentoring agents, is that I'm going to trust their actions. I'm going to trust their motion. And if their motion isn't what they said it was going to be, then you know what? They can't have all the time from me that they may want, but they have to earn it. So what I challenge you all to do is to take action. Wherever you are in your business, wherever you are in your mindset, wherever you are in your personal development, wherever you are in your preparation, take action. Make that commitment to yourself, make that commitment to your team, make that commitment to your family, whatever that's going to look like. I challenge you to take action today, right now, after this call. Either pick up the phone and start making dials, even though it may feel like that's a 100-pound phone, just do it anyway. It's the anticipation that's killing you. Or if it's reaching out to a friend that needs this insurance, what the programs that we offer, do that now before it's too late. Luckily for me, I was able to help a close friend of mine, someone that's very close in my intimate circle, get insurance products before he was diagnosed with cancer. I was because I just took action. I was very adamant about doing it because of my experience with my clients previously. So again, I know that there's been a lot of information that's been covered today. I just hope that it's made an impact on you. I hope that it's been applicable for your business. I hope that you can go out there and just continue to serve families. And I know for us and our team here at the Kind Agency, we're just going to keep pushing forward, finishing out the year strong, finishing out 2022 strong to earn those equity appreciation rights. And just continuing to grow here at Symmetry and, building this legacy for a lifetime. So again, Todd, thank you so much for having us on. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've been so grateful for you.
Thank you guys for just absolutely slaying it. My phone, I just looked down and I have 78 text messages. So I love these calls and I love getting to see the feedback and, just want to share with you guys the impact that you make because you touched a lot of people today. You hit on some real good practical things that need to be taken into action. And Leanna and Anthony and Audrey, we love you guys. You're a big part of this family. And I love the Kind Agency and what you do and how you lead and how you love and how you treat your clients and you treat your agents. So just appreciate you guys so much for being on. We're grateful. And we'll see everybody next week.
All right, everyone. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Have a great day.